When I came back to work after a month-long emergency medical leave, I thought the hardest part was behind me. What had happened was terrifying. After 10 years of being dismissed and ignored by doctors, I finally saw a new physician who actually listened. They ordered an MRI during what I thought was a routine visit, and within 24 hours, I was in surgery! The mass they found in my abdomen weighed 18 pounds. It had been pressing on my vital organs, and the surgeon told me I was about a week away from multiple organ failure. I'm lucky. I survived. I can still hug my family, watch my kid grow up, and sit here telling this story. But my body, it changed. I went from a size 20 to a size 8, practically overnight. None of my doctors predicted something so drastic, but there it was. And while I was processing the trauma, trying to heal physically and mentally, I also had to prepare myself for the reaction I knew I'd get at work. I came up with a simple answer for people. I had emergency surgery, but I'm fine now. Most people respected that. They asked their 1 or 2 questions, and then we moved on. Everyone except Aubrey. I barely spoke to Aubrey before this. But she has this reputation at work for calling herself a health coach, giving out bad advice and judging other people's food choices. I knew that about her, but I never thought she'd focus on me. On my very first day back, she walked up to me and said, I wish you had come to me to lose the weight instead of resorting to such drastic measures. You're going to gain it all back. You know, I'll be waiting. I just stood there, stunned. I had almost died, and she was treating me like I went on some fad diet she disapproved of. Then she doubled down. She asked me why I opted to get butchered instead of putting in the hard work. For the record, there is nothing wrong with someone choosing surgical weight loss. But that wasn't my story. I didn't opt for anything. I was cut open because I had a massive tumor killing me. The next week, Aubrey showed up at my office in gym clothes, offering to take me to the gym. If I was too afraid to go alone, at that point, I wasn't even cleared to lift my child or climb a flight of stairs. She had no idea how fragile my body still was. When I brushed her off, she told me I was lazy and I'd gained the weight back. And then she went a step further. During a meeting I wasn't even in because I had a follow-up appointment. She ranted about me to the whole group. She said if I couldn't commit to weight loss, I obviously couldn't commit to my job. That rant triggered an HR mediation. In our company, those red flag mediations can cost you your yearly bonus. I was floored. Why was I being pulled into mediation when Aubrey was the one harassing me? During that session, Aubrey told HR that she was triggered by my new body. She said I should have warned her before I went into surgery because seeing me thin was upsetting for her. I barely had time to warn my husband before being wheeled into the operating room. And now, I was supposed to warn a coworker. HR's suggestion was that I should share my medical details with Aubrey because maybe if she understood my real story, she would calm down. I told them flat out, no. My medical history is mine. Aubrey's inability to cope isn't my responsibility. HR's response, well, then we can't stop her from bullying you. So I leaned on my doctor, who helped me file ADA accommodation paperwork to work from home. I had some minor complications anyway, and honestly, it was the only way to avoid Aubrey. The company hated that. They hate remote work, but I was cleared for it. Even from home, Aubrey kept emailing me diet plans, workout videos, and coaching advice. I'd forward them to HR. Their only response was, noted. Do you know when you're coming back to the office? That's when I started thinking, maybe I needed a lawyer. Update! April, this is where things went full banana. My boss, George, was about to retire. He and his replacement both assured me Aubrey would be handled, and even Aubrey's boss told her to knock it off. Other coworkers were telling her to stop. So leadership was supportive. But HR? HR completely botched it. When Aubrey's boss referred her to HR for harassment, HR unilaterally decided to drag me into mediation. George and my new boss both told HR I had done nothing wrong. But HR pushed forward anyway. Later, when I questioned HR about my ADA work-from-home documentation, the HR director actually said, medical documentation doesn't hold much weight with this company. That was the final straw. I hired a lawyer. With their advice, I went straight to the chief HR officer, the head of the whole department, and told her everything. The harassment, the false mediation, the HR director's words. Her face turned red. She was horrified. Within days, HR staff who mishandled my case were let go. Aubrey wasn't fired, but she was put on a strict performance plan. And then, she showed up at my house. She brought 2 women with her and tried to pitch me workout supplements and a career opportunity. That's right. She was deep in an MLM. She claimed she was worried about my health and career and wanted me to join her team. She didn't even make it past my front porch. My mother-in-law told her exactly where she could stick her samples, and they left fast. I notified my lawyer, and that was the last I've ever heard from Aubrey. Final update. June life looks different now. I ended up getting an offer from another company. Mostly remote, better salary, and honestly a healthier culture. I'm now head of payroll, and I report directly to the coup. But the best twist? At my first admin meeting, who's sitting across the table, but Bob, the same HR director who once told me medical documentation doesn't matter. He went pale when he saw me. All meeting long, I made a point of asking things like, does this employee have their medical documentation? Great. Medical documentation holds a lot of weight. I smiled every time I said it. Everyone else praised him for being so thoughtful, and he had no choice but to nod along. Bob can suck it! As for Aubrey, she's out there somewhere, selling supplements as a wellness coach. And me? I'm healthier! I'm working in a better place, and I never have to deal with her nonsense again.